welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Lizzie, hence Yoga with Lizzie, and I have been practicing yoga for, must be nearly 12 years now, and I started off at 21, marathon training, playing hockey, all the sorts of things you do when you're young, and I was just looking for a stretch, and there was a free class, and so I tried it. And the next day it really hurt, everything really hurt, and I was hooked. And so for the next couple of years for me it was just a stretch really. It was a new way to move my body. I wasn't really interested in anything else to do with it. But I carried on because I really liked how it made my body feel. So after that I moved and lived abroad for 4 years, and while we were out there we were working as dive instructors, and I found that the breathing that comes from obviously being an experienced diver just sort of moved from underwater onto my mat and vice versa, and that made me feel really good. I didn't really know why, but also the yoga was something I could do at home. Around the same time, Pinterest and Instagram started to become a big thing. I got my first iPhone, so I had access to both of those, and I discovered a whole world beyond the sort of basic sun salutations and minimal hatha experience I'd had in the few classes I'd been to before I lived away. So my practice became more exciting. I started realizing that there was a lot more to it than just the movements. And so when we moved home, I did my yoga teacher training, hatha training online, and really started to get into all the other stuff that I think was naturally starting to filter into my practice anyway, because I guess that's what just happens over time, you just become more curious. But yeah, it was also presented to me in a way I could understand, and I started to enjoy that side a bit more. It took me a whole year to get big enough balls to teach, because I didn't think, oh, I haven't been to India, so therefore how could I know what I'm doing? But I think if you can teach, you can teach, and I believe I'm a good teacher. When I share stuff that I believe in, I can explain it in several different ways. I like to think that I am enthusiastic and motivating, and so I think those are good qualities for teachers. I'm not going to be able to teach everybody, not everyone is going to vibe with me. That's okay, I don't vibe with everyone either. So I started teaching. And very quickly I realised that the sort of standard hatha for beginners, which is how it's usually marketed, really wasn't my biggest passion. I really enjoyed helping people get moving and helping people feel comfortable in their bodies, and I still really enjoy teaching things like restorative or more yin-like sequences because they're really beneficial for the body and for the mind. But what I have found personally in this crazy busy world that we live in is that actually if you don't move enough, it's very hard to come out of your head. And so I was looking for something more, and my classes started getting stronger. I started teaching a more strength and conditioning class, and we started playing with things like arm balances and stuff, and I could see this was, one, something I was really good at teaching because I played with it for hours at home and then I could bring all of that knowledge with me, but two, it was really helping people in a different way than the slower practices. Now, that is almost certainly down to the way I teach the slower practices. If it's not your passion, if it's not your 100%, then you're not going to be able to teach it as well as someone who it is. When I teach my hatha classes, we still do things like downward dog, we still do things like dolphin, we still do maybe play with crow pose even, because I teach yoga to help people realise what's possible, and that's what I've found in my yoga practice, and so that's what I share. Anyway, long story short, because I'm not good at short stories, sorry. In 2018, I had some spare money and some spare time, and I saw a rocket training in London. I had no idea what rocket was. I'd done Ashtanga like once, but I was like, yeah, I like the sound of that. I want to go away for a week. I want to do some more training. This studio looks cool. It had like crazy different colour lights in the ceiling and really cool music that was played all the time. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. So I went on my training, and within the first 5 minutes of that training, I was like, oh my God, this is what I'm supposed to be teaching. I mean, this is basically what I am teaching. It just never had a name, and I didn't have the teaching. So I absolutely loved every moment of those 5-6 days in London with my beautiful teacher, Amber Jean, Rocket Girl, who had trained under Larry, and just the passion that she taught with literally gave me like goosebumps. I was knackered after 8 hours every day, but I could have done 3 times as much. And when I touched back down in Bristol, I was just like, and it was rocket, 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 rocket. The studio I teach at, Trika in Bedminster, under the beautiful Charlene, was super open to me giving it a go, and Bedminster just loves it. Trika eats it up. One of my teacher friends has gone on and trained, which is so wonderful. I'm so pleased. That makes me so happy. And so then I get to go to some of her classes and experience what it's like to be in a class again rather than be the teacher. And that's awesome. And yeah, it's really lovely to know that you've inspired someone to want to go and commit as much as you to something. That's really, really awesome. So this channel is going to be bringing you Hatha, but probably stronger Hatha. We'll obviously have some relaxation because it's super important. I'm a big Shavasana fan nowadays. Once I've moved enough, hell yeah, I like to lie still. But I do think you have to move a bit before, for most of us anyway, before your brain is able to turn off and you don't just lie there going back to your emails and your shopping lists. And we will obviously have some rocket. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to try and do a video a day. We'll start with some foundation poses. I am a big stickler for alignment and for finding the right place for you. Now, my body, as I said, has done 12 years of yoga. I'm 5 foot, nearly 4. That's nearly 5'4", not nearly 4 foot. I do have quite a lot of flexibility now, which has come from my yoga practice. I've also had a baby last year, which can change how your body is flexible. But the point is, you shouldn't try and make the same shapes as me. Ideally, because I can't help you, I can't see you if we're practicing together through here. Ideally, you want to try and find the feelings I'm trying to suggest through my words. I'm a very talky teacher, so hopefully there'll be things that connect to you. If, of course, you ever want to send me pictures of you doing shapes or poses or flows or videos, then please do. My emails will be on the video, or you can find me on my Instagram. It's all yoga with Lizzie Higgins, either at Gmail or that's my Instagram handle. So yeah, you can always send me anything. I'm more than happy to look. Or we can connect via Zoom and do a one-to-one. That's totally fine. That's something I'm exploring in the next week. Connect with me and let me know what you want. But I hope that my YouTube can become something of service for you. As a new mum, I really, really appreciate how a little bit of time can just be grabbed and made the most of and can totally change your day. So I'm going to have short practices in there for that, and for those blissful times when baby's napping, or daddy or granny or someone's looking after baby, and you just get like a whole hour or even more to yourself. There's going to be some practices for you to lose yourself in there. There'll be some pre and postnatal recovery, and then lots for athletes, for people who do other stuff, because yoga shouldn't be treated as your workout. Yeah, and as I grow as a teacher, as my meditation practice gets stronger, as I start to work with and understand more pranayama techniques, I'll bring those to you too. So yeah, so stick around, subscribe if you can, grow with me, and let's do yoga together. Thanks so much for being here. Namaste.